Good morning. Well, if you're up and bright and early on a Monday morning, well done. Perhaps you're not a Monday person and we can forgive you for that. I'm going to last as long as I possibly can doing outside morning devotions, and you may have been expecting to see Jess today. We're swapping, and Jess will be a little bit later in the week. It's great to welcome you. And today we're going to be really ploughing towards the last few days of Jesus' life before his crucifixion, and we find ourselves in Mark chapter 14. So I'm going to dive straight into the reading. Mark chapter 14 verse 1. Now the Passover and the festival of unleavened bread were only 2 days away, and the chief priests and the teacher of the law were scheming to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him. But not during the festival, they said, or the people may riot. Hey, good morning, Nicola. Now, while he was in Bethany, reclining at the table in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume made of nard, and she broke the jar and poured the perfume on his head. Some of those present were saying indignantly to one another, "Why waste this perfume? It could have been sold for more than a year's wages and the money given to the poor." And they rebuked her harshly. "Leave her alone," said Jesus. "Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want. But you will not always have me." She did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted to hear this and promised to give him money, so he watched for an opportunity to hand him over. Good morning, Teresa. Glad to see you watching. Now then, here's the thing. Two things are going on side by side. You've got people who are scheming to kill Jesus, and you've got somebody who desires to worship Jesus. Think about just how much these people wanted to kill him. Scheming secretly, choosing their moment. They hated what Jesus stood for that much. And then in complete contrast, you have a woman who gives a year's wages, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. That much money in just one act of just extravagant worship. And this morning, I just wonder, as we begin a new week, in a sense, where do we fit in that spectrum? Well, if you're watching, I'm guessing you don't hate Jesus, yet at the same time, do you love Jesus in such an extravagant way? There was a guy that we knew for many years who was big, a bit rough around the edges, yet there was one thing that you could say about him, and that was that he really loved Jesus. He was a bit mad, actually. He was a bit crazy. And yet that craziness came from the fact that he had experienced the love of Jesus in such a way, actually it didn't matter what people thought. And it strikes me that's what this woman was like. Because she stepped out into the public domain in an incredibly religious environment and did something that wasn't just extravagant, but something that was so socially unacceptable, because she loved Jesus that much. I'm challenged this morning, folks, because I'm not sure whether I have that same level of love to make a fool of myself. Do I love Jesus that much? And the other side of the coin is also really important, because in receiving this gift, Jesus was also putting himself out there. He was saying that he loved this woman, because as a young rabbi in a very religious environment, this would have been so socially unacceptable that people would have said, "How on earth could you allow a woman to do that to you?" But here's the thing, Jesus received her extravagant gift. He welcomed it, he praised it, and by doing so, he was also welcoming her and praising her in a sense. And that's the thing. Someone who was on the fringes of society was welcomed in and praised because she loved him. And so today, maybe you don't feel as though you can worship that extravagantly, but don't forget the heart of this woman's worship was because Jesus loved her that much. So as you start the day and as we begin a new week, think about how much you love Jesus by beginning to think about how much he loves you. Have a great day, and may God be with you.